I have a whole chapter in my book about how to use demographics and how not to. But maybe the one thing I would leave you is that usually those profiles sort of come out of what I would call the middle of the demographic profile of your area. So they're intended to be someone who's kind of typical in some way of who's there. And so I would encourage you, partly because it's fun and partly because I do think it is like what Jesus would do, is to have another couple of profiles in mind, in addition to the one that you've been given to work with. Think about who the outliers might be. And your demographics actually can help you think about who the outliers might be and how they might have ended up in your neighborhood. But think about if you go through that scriptural scenario where, like, you invite all the respectable people to dinner and everybody's busy. And then Jesus says, go out in the streets and, kind of find the people who have nothing else to do or no one else to welcome them, and bring them in. Who would those people be? Who are the people who might not be welcomed in any other religious community around you? Who are the people who your congregation might really have to stretch to make room for? Episcopalians are fairly stretchy in some directions, not as stretchy in others. And how might you as a congregation begin to prepare yourselves to invite and to include the outliers? Because I actually do think that is, well, it's not the center of the demographic, it's the center of our call as Christians. And it's one of the gifts of the Episcopal Church, is that if we are, I used to say this to a group that I did Bible study with in jail that often didn't know anything about the Episcopal Church. And I say, well, here's how I'm going to put it. If anyone is criticizing the Episcopal Church, it's usually because we have the doors too wide open. And I'm okay with that. It's one of our gifts that when most churches still don't welcome LGBTQ folks, for example, we have a pretty long track record of that at this point. We are not perfect in so many ways. But in recent years, we've been experimenting with having the doors pretty wide open. And this process is a chance to fling the doors open wide and see what happens. And I suspect that that is a practice that puts a smile on Jesus's face. So I will leave you there.